There's a moment in every life when everything feels overwhelming, like the world is spinning too fast and nothing's making sense. I've had those moments, you've probably had them too. But let me tell you something that completely changed my life, not a new job, not a lucky break, not some magical miracle. Just this one thing, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at will begin to change. It sounds simple, right? But the truth is, it's transformational. We all have challenges, pain, disappointments, rejections, and if you keep looking at them like they're the end of your story, they will be. But if you shift your perspective even just slightly, everything begins to change. Suddenly, the rejection becomes redirection, the failure becomes fuel, the delay becomes your divine setup. Your story begins to make sense. I remember walking into rooms where no one looked like me, where my accent, my skin, my culture, everything felt like a disadvantage. But then I changed the lens. I stopped seeing myself as a misfit, and I started seeing myself as a force. A global citizen, a woman who didn't belong in one box because she could build her own. So ask yourself right now, what have you been looking at the wrong way? Is it your body, your past, your worth? Your job, your dreams? Maybe you've been telling yourself that you're not enough, that you missed your chance, that it's too late. But none of that is the truth. It's just your perception, and perception can be rewired. I want you to look at your life with fresh eyes. I want you to see that every challenge you've survived has made you wiser, tougher, sharper. I want you to stop waiting for the world to change and start changing your view of the world. Because when you shift the way you see yourself, the universe responds, doors open, people notice, energy shifts, the light comes in. Not because the world suddenly became easier, but because you became different. You became intentional, focused, unapologetic. Let this be your wake-up call. Stop staring at life like it's your enemy. Start seeing it as your canvas. Start seeing problems as opportunities in disguise. Start treating setbacks as setups for your next breakthrough. Change the way you look at things, change your story, and trust me, you'll change your life, and that, my friend, will leave even you speechless. The way you choose to see the world shapes the world you live in. Every person, every experience, every obstacle, it's filtered through your personal lens. That lens is crafted by your beliefs, your past, your mindset, and your self-worth. And when that lens is clouded by fear, insecurity, or pain, everything looks impossible. You start seeing roadblocks instead of routes, critics instead of allies, and dead ends instead of detours. But when you shift that lens, when you choose to look at things differently, you'll begin to realize that nothing outside of you actually changed. But suddenly you feel empowered. Suddenly you see meaning in the mess and purpose in the pain. That small internal shift is where real transformation begins. It's not about denying problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about realizing you have the power to decide how you interpret what's happening. You can let setbacks define you, or you can let them refine you. You can view struggles as burdens or as training grounds. That change in viewpoint becomes the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. And once you start seeing life through the lens of growth instead of defeat, you'll start making different decisions. You'll walk with more confidence, take bolder risks, and speak with more conviction. Because your reality is now shaped by empowerment, not fear. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It's a choice you make daily. You choose to rise instead of retreat. You choose to learn rather than collapse, and the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. People might look at your life and think nothing's changed, but inside, everything has. Because when you stop being a victim of your circumstances and start being the author of your story, the world responds differently. You attract new opportunities, new people, new ideas, because your inner world is calling them in. There is a powerful truth. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That's not just a quote. It's a lived experience. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can always control how you see it, and how you see it will shape how you live it. So today, don't just look at your life, reframe it. Choose a lens of strength, not weakness. Choose clarity over confusion. Choose courage over comfort. Because when your perspective changes, your whole life begins to shift in ways that will leave even you amazed. Rejection is one of the most painful experiences we go through, but it often carries a hidden gift that we don't see in the moment. It's easy to take rejection personally, to see it as a sign that we're not good enough, not worthy, or not meant to succeed. But the truth is, Rejection can be a powerful redirection. What you think is a closed door might actually be life's way of guiding you toward a better one. It may not feel like it at first. In fact, it may feel like everything is falling apart. But over time, you begin to realize that what you were so desperate to hold onto wasn't truly meant for you, and letting go of it opened the path to something far greater. Sometimes we hold onto dreams, people, or opportunities that don't align with our true purpose. We want things because they look good on paper or because we've grown attached to the idea of them, but life has a bigger perspective than we do. When something or someone leaves, it creates space for growth, for clarity, for something more aligned with who we are becoming. Rejection forces us to pause, reflect, and ask deeper questions about what we really want and what we really need. It forces us to dig deeper, work harder, and stretch ourselves beyond our comfort zones. Every time you are rejected, you are being redirected towards something that fits you better, even if you can't see it yet. Think about the times when you didn't get what you thought you wanted, only to look back later and feel grateful. That job you didn't get made room for a career that lit you up. That relationship that ended made space for someone who truly saw your worth. That opportunity that passed you by led you to one that changed your life. None of those things felt like blessings at the time, but now you understand they were necessary. Rejection builds resilience. It teaches you not to crumble at the first sign of disappointment, but to stand taller, speak louder, and pursue even more boldly. It sharpens your focus and deepens your faith. It reminds you that your value doesn't come from outside approval, but from within. So the next time rejection shows up, don't run from it. Respect it, learn from it. Let it guide you, because sometimes life says no to what's comfortable in order to say yes to what's extraordinary. And if you're willing to trust that redirection, it will take you to places you never dreamed possible. There's incredible power in embracing who you are without apology. In a world that constantly tries to fit people into boxes, based on appearance, culture, language, or background, it's easy to feel like you don't belong. You walk into rooms and wonder if you're too different, too bold, too quiet, too outspoken, too much of something or not enough of something else. But the truth is, your uniqueness is not a weakness. It's your strength. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out, to challenge the mold, to bring something to the table that no one else can offer. And once you realize that, everything changes. When you stop seeing yourself as a misfit and start seeing yourself as a force, you reclaim your power. You stop chasing validation and start creating your own definition of success. You no longer shrink to make others comfortable. Instead, you show up with pride in your identity, in your story, in your journey. The world doesn't need more people trying to fit a certain image. It needs people who are brave enough to be themselves fully and fearlessly. That authenticity is magnetic. It draws people in. It opens doors that imitation never could. Many people waste years of their lives trying to become what others expect them to be. They dilute their light, censor their voice, and hide their true selves. But that's not the life you were meant to live. The most powerful thing you can do is own your difference. Your culture, your roots, your passions, your scars. They're all part of your power. The more you embrace who you are, the more you step into a version of yourself that's unstoppable. People start to notice your confidence. Opportunities start to find you, not because you changed to fit in, but because you finally stood out. There is something extraordinary that happens when you walk into a room and carry your uniqueness like a crown instead of a burden. You become unforgettable. You inspire others to do the same, and you begin to attract spaces and people that celebrate who you really are. The truth is, you don't need to be like everyone else to succeed. You just need to be fully and unapologetically you. Because when you stop trying to belong everywhere, you'll find the place that was made just for you. And in that place, your uniqueness won't be questioned, it'll be your greatest asset. Real change doesn't begin when the world shifts around you. It begins the moment you shift the way you see yourself. So many people spend their lives waiting for external circumstances to improve before they allow themselves to believe, dream, or move forward. They wait for the perfect timing, the right opportunity, the ideal conditions, but the truth is, those things rarely come exactly the way we expect. The real transformation happens when you decide to stop waiting and start becoming. When you stop relying on outside forces to validate you and start cultivating belief from within, that's when everything begins to move in your favor. You have more power than you realize. The way you see yourself determines the energy you project, and that energy influences how others see you and what you attract into your life. If you believe you're unworthy, overlooked, or stuck, you'll continue to find evidence of that in your environment. But if you begin to believe you are capable, valuable, and destined for more, you'll begin to make choices that reflect that belief, and those choices will create momentum. That momentum will create results. And soon, what you once only imagined will start to become your new reality. It's easy to think that something out there needs to change, whether it's your job, your relationships, or your circumstances. But what really needs to shift is how you view your own potential. You're not powerless. You're not waiting to be rescued. You are the key to the next level of your life. The courage to grow doesn't come from everything being perfect. It comes from deciding that your future is worth the risk of discomfort and change. It comes from realizing that no one else can rewrite your story but you. Once you change the narrative in your mind, the world starts to respond differently. You begin to walk with more assurance, speak with more intention, and take up space without apology. You begin to break cycles, challenge limitations, and take steps you used to be afraid of. People might say you've changed, and you have, but it's not because the world gave you permission. It's because you finally gave it to yourself. You chose to stop playing small. You chose to see yourself not as a problem to be fixed, but as a force to be unleashed. And once that happens, you don't wait for life to happen to you. You rise, take control, and make life happen through you. Your past does not define you. It may shape you, influence you, and leave marks on your soul, but it is not the full story of who you are. Too often, people carry their past like a heavy weight, allowing old failures, regrets, or painful memories to hold them back from the life they could be living right now. But the truth is, you are not your mistakes. You are not your lowest moments. You are not the labels others placed on you or the limits they tried to impose. You are a living, breathing work in progress, still growing, still learning, still becoming. When you continue to look backward, you risk missing what's in front of you. Growth requires forward motion. That means choosing not to let past pain dictate your present behavior or your future choices. Yes, you've made decisions you might regret. Yes, you've been through moments that shook your confidence. But that doesn't make you broken. It makes you human. It makes you real. The beauty of your journey isn't in perfection. It's in the comeback, in the rebuilding, in the way you choose to rise again and again. Your scars are not signs of weakness. They are proof that you survived. They are reminders that you've endured things others couldn't see, fought battles no one knows about, and yet here you are still standing, still moving, still dreaming. That strength can't be faked, and it can't be taken from you. The key is learning to stop allowing your past to silence your potential. You can't rewrite what happened, but you can choose how it shapes what comes next. You have the power to shift your focus from what went wrong to what can go right. And when you do that, everything changes. Forgiveness is part of this process, not just forgiving others, but forgiving yourself. You are allowed to outgrow the version of yourself that made mistakes. You are allowed to step into a new season without dragging old shame behind you. Growth means releasing what no longer serves you and choosing to see yourself as worthy of joy, peace, and purpose. Not someday, but now. Let your past be a classroom, not a prison. Learn from it, honor it, but don't live in it. The truth is, you're not stuck unless you decide to be, and the only thing more powerful than your history is your willingness to evolve beyond it. When you let go of what was, you create room for what could be. And that space is where transformation truly begins. The energy you carry is shaped by the mindset you choose. Your thoughts have a way of echoing through your words, your actions, and even your presence. People can sense it. Opportunities respond to it. Life begins to mirror it. When your mind is filled with doubt, fear, and limitation, everything around you starts to reflect that same energy. You begin to shrink yourself, second, guess your decisions, and hesitate in moments when boldness is required. But the opposite is just as true. When your mindset is rooted in confidence, belief, and possibility, you radiate a different kind of power. You begin to walk differently, speak with purpose, and attract situations that align with your new energy. Your mindset is like a signal you send out to the world. It doesn't mean pretending to be positive when you feel broken or faking confidence when you're unsure. It means being intentional with your thoughts. It means choosing to focus on growth instead of fear, on solutions instead of problems, on what's possible instead of what's lacking. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about refusing to let your current circumstances define your future potential. The way you think shapes what you believe you deserve, and what you believe you deserve influences the choices you make, the risks you take, and the boundaries you set. It's amazing how different life feels when you start thinking from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. When you stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "What if this works?" That one shift can open doors you didn't even know existed. It can help you walk into rooms with your head high instead of your heart hidden. It can give you the courage to try again, speak up, or pursue the dream you've buried under years of doubt. Everything starts in the mind. If you want to change your life, start by changing the conversation you're having with yourself. Speak to yourself with the same encouragement you'd give someone you love. Be the loudest voice cheering for your own growth. The world already has enough critics. Don't let your mind become one of them. Choose thoughts that lift, not limit. Because when your mindset changes, your actions follow. And when your actions change, your results change. Suddenly, what once felt out of reach begins to feel natural. That's not magic, it's the alignment of thought, energy, and action. That's when you stop surviving and start thriving. That's when life begins to shift, not by force, but by frequency.